everybody. It's going to take us a little minute to get started. For the longest time, you guys, I have been doing these videos and didn't realize that my microphone wasn't plugged up. So if y'all ever see me on here and this thing is not connected in the back, please tell me, because I won't. I have been doing these for the longest without my microphone on. I'm just like, that kind of sucks. But anyway, hey everybody, y'all ready to talk? Let me turn this music off because we have a lot to talk about today, and I'm very excited to do this presentation because it should make a lot of things make more sense. I'm hoping that that's what I can do today. I don't have no pants on. I want y'all to just know that if I stand up, y'all gonna get a whole show. It's gonna be a whole lot more than you bargained for. I'm gonna try to remember not to run out the door to go get my baby. All right, let me go ahead and get started, you guys, because I don't want to hold you for too long. I'm losing my voice right now. I got some water next to me. Okay. All right, everybody. This is Entertain the Thought. I am Reese Roberts, and today we're talking about spiritual interpretation. Spiritual interpretation. I've been having a lot of dreams lately, and I haven't really sat down to write them down like I know I should, but at the same time, I'm taking a lot of mental notes from the things that are happening in my dreams. But what I want to talk about for the most part is spiritual interpretation. And firstly, I want to define what I mean by spiritual, because in order to interpret something, we first have to understand what it is that we're interpreting and, just get like a base definition. So for me, when I say spiritual interpretation, I mean energetic interpretation. I mean, how are we internalizing, consuming, and then utilizing the energy that we consume? And I hope that we're all in agreement when we say that a spirit is a form of energy, okay? And we all know that energy is vibratory. It has a vibration that allows it to travel. This is how energy travels, by way of vibration, okay? And, me saying that, I just taught myself something. That's never really fallen on me like that, but that's the case, all right? And what we have to know is that when energy vibrates in our direction, we have the ability to accept the energy on a vibratory level, or to reject it and not allow ourselves to consume the energy. So naturally, this is what we would understand as, a spiritual concept, but not a lot of us know what to do with that. We don't necessarily know how to apply that or make it practical in one way or another. So firstly, this is what I want us to do. Let's go down this little list that I created. And the first thing I want us to do is think about this. When you consume energy, how do you consume it? You have gates where you allow energy to come into your body, into your mental capacity, your mental space. So that's your eyes, that's your ears in most situations. You allow things to be processed from the input of your eyes when you read things, when you see things, when you meet people. Or from your ears when you hear things from the news, the media, people telling you things. These are your gates, your experiences. You also allow energy to enter through your root chakra, through your genitals, that gate, where you're allowing energy to be transferred to and from you by way of your genital area. So what I want us to do is just remember, this is how we are consuming. You don't just consume by letting things into your mouth. This is also another gate where you put things into your mouth and your body is able to transform not only your physical body, but your mental presence or your mental capacity as well by whatever you put into your mouth. We talked about that on our last, one of our last sessions where we discussed how food, when it is electric food, it carries information that is allowed to be transferred from the food itself into your bloodstream and into your brain and other parts of your intelligent body that know what to do with that electric information. So again, this is how we're consuming information through our eyes, our ears, and even our mouth, sometimes our genital area. So how do we begin to interpret the energy that we're receiving from all these different gates? I think it's important to recognize that when you consume information or when you consume energy, I think that's another important note to make, is that information is energy. Information vibrates on an energetic level. And we must be diligent enough to know how to identify this information or this energy or this spirit and have a purpose or a cause for it. Know what to do with it. So once it comes into the gate, the second order of business is to identify it based on how it's vibrating inside of you. This requires a bit of work, because you have to know yourself. You must be in a place where you know what works for you and what does not work for you on a vibratory level. Because, people always say, oh, don't kill my vibe, don't kill my vibe. That's a real thing. It's not just a song or something that, I'm about to sound like an old person. It's not just something that hippity hop bebop to. Don't kill my vibe, for real. Because if you do, then you have just altered me in a sense. And this is another thing I want us to talk about, is how the energy is allowed to interact with our physical and mental or spiritual body once we have consumed it. So let's just put it in the terms of a person who's not able yet to, exactly, it is discernment. A person who's not able to identify energy because they don't know themselves. How many of us don't know ourselves enough to recognize that we're in a bad relationship, for example, or we're at a workplace, we're in a job that is counterproductive to our spirit. And we have all these situations where, because we don't know ourselves very well, we feel stuck. We feel like even though this thing is not good for me, as bad as ever, I still feel like I want to stick with this. I still feel like I want to go against what my spirit is telling me, that this is not on the same vibratory level as I am. But because I don't know myself very well, I want to deal with it. I want to accept it. I want to continue to consume this thing. And this doesn't really work. It doesn't really work. We don't get to a point where we ever satisfy ourselves or satisfy our souls, because we're doing something that doesn't resonate with us, but we don't know ourselves very well. So we're just kind of toughing it out and calling ourselves a rider, or calling ourselves, some kind of leader, or calling ourselves strong. But in all truth, in all reality, what's happening is we're not able to free ourselves from things that are not serving us, because we're not discerning the fact that this energy is not serving. This energy is draining. This energy is destroying. This energy is tearing away. All right. So this is how we're getting into, how are we interpreting spiritual energy? Okay. When you know yourself, and this is the goal here, is knowledge of self. The goal is to know yourself well enough to say, when I receive information through one of my gates, meaning if I just read something from a friend, or I read a book from my favorite author, or I read the lyrics to a song, anything, it came into my consciousness, and I need to figure out now, do I like what this says? Do I like how this made me feel? Do I like how it's making me act? Especially when you're taking things in, things that you consider to be an authority. How about when your pastor says something to you? Or how about when a lawmaker says something, and you receive this in your gates? And then you start to believe, oh, well, this must be reputable because it came from a place that I respect, or it came from a place that has this appearance of authority. So I have a decision to make. Do I want to allow this appearance of authority to force me to accept this energy on a vibratory level that I don't agree with? If somebody tells you, for example, right now what's going on in the media, these Caucasians right now trying to pass laws dealing with pedophilia. You already know that doesn't vibrate with you on a very high level. You know that this is something you don't want. You don't like it. You don't want it in your reality. So what do? You immediately reject it. But what if it's something that you're not so sure about? Like vaccinations. What if you're not so sure about vaccinations all the way? So because it came from a place that seems like authority or looks like authority, you fail to allow the uncertainty to take you to a place where you get to know yourself a little better, where you get to see, do I really want to accept this and cause it to change me on a vibratory level? Let's just say, for example, you do decide to stay in a bad situation or a bad relationship, a bad employment type of situation, and you allow yourself to stay. That energy transforms you. Because if you allow that thing past your gates, now when you are when you're vigilant and you're standing at your gates at attention, you consume something that you don't like, you immediately say, oh, I don't like that, I'm going to toss that out. But then there are some times when things get past your gates. There are some times when things get past them gates. Okay? When you don't recognize that you have not made a necessary decision to either accept or reject something. It wasn't accepted or rejected. It just slid right on by. Like with this whole situation we're dealing with I'm going to tell you something more practical. Y'all don't understand, these things come and go very quickly. But this pedophilia thing is definitely being pushed because it's being presented as a controversy. You think that you're choosing a side when you say, I don't agree with pedophilia. I don't want to see that in my home. I don't want to, see that in my community. You think that you having this justified refusal in the controversy puts you on the side of righteousness. But what's actually happening, and which you have not made a decision according to what you think you did, is these people, while presenting the controversy, are on the back end saying that while they're choosing, yes or no, we're for or against pedophilia. The whole time, these people have already, like I said in the status earlier today, they've already normalized pedophilia in their communities. Why does that matter? Because we're living under their government rulership. So whatever they have normalized in their communities is what the ruling majority is. It's what the ruling majority will be. They've already normalized pedophilia. So what they're doing right now is getting us all upset about it, going back and forth to discuss it, just to completely blind ourselves of the fact that it is already being legalized with them. That's their only goal. Once they have legalized it as a part of their system, then we all must accept it. It's the reason why there is no separation between church and state. Because at this point, what the state is doing is determining for the church what is going to be and what will not be. The church is not refuting pedophilia. The Catholic Church is participating. The Catholic Church is perpetuating pedophilia. Why? Because they want the state to legalize it for their enjoyment. This is where we have to start conceptualizing the part where we come in. Debating it is only making it more relevant. It's only making it more available for them to push as an agenda. If we were to say, I'm not going to decide, or I'm not going to speak on this, I'm going to deal with it in my community silently, the way you've dealt with it in your community silently for all this time. You see, we allow them to put our sicknesses on the chopping block on primetime television, not recognizing that this is a transference of energy. We're not discerning that, or interpreting this energy as it's being transferred back and forth between us and our oppressive enemy. Our oppressive enemy is making moves on a chessboard while we're still sitting here playing checkers. And it's a little bit embarrassing because this is common knowledge that media is often used as a tool to desensitize and to perpetuate certain ideas. It's not the law itself that they're trying to publicize. They're publicizing the idea that children can be sexualized. Why? Because they want to sexualize children. And if they can just simply present the idea that children can be sexual objects, that transference of energy will be valid for whoever decides to receive it. Because again, everybody doesn't have the spiritual discernment to reject it. Everybody's not standing at their spiritual gates to say, I don't like that. I don't like that idea. I don't want that as a part of my community. There are plenty of people out there who hear the rhetoric and they're like, oh, well, I guess children can decide if they want to be gay. I guess that makes sense. Put your thinking caps on. How can a child decide to be a gender, a sexual orientation, when they're not legally able to consent to sex? That should ring some bells because those things are connected. Now, if you start allowing a child to determine what their sexual orientation is, then what's to say that they cannot practice sexuality? This is common sense. This is a train of thought. This is what we call deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning tells you that if the child is conscious enough to make a decision about their sexual orientation, that they might get an idea of themselves being sexual objects that have sex. Because eventually they're going to start to realize, oh, I have a sexual orientation. I have sexual genitalia. I have sexual functionality. I want to start having sex. Might start doing it with a grown person. Because pedophilia is now a part of the discussion. Because gender is a part of the discussion. Because sexual orientation is being pushed down these children's throats. When did you get the sex talk from your parents? I didn't get it until later. But again, everybody's not standing at the gate. Everybody's not listening to the rhetoric and saying, that don't sound right. That don't sit well with my soul. Everybody is not able to say, what is this energetic transfer? What is this idea? What is this information? What is this spirit? What is it doing? How is it affecting me? How is it affecting the masses? You understand? So we just jump right on into the debate, ready to say, no, that's not right. We don't like pedophiles. We hate pedophiles. But then the pedophiles will come out with their sympathy cards, and you know how that gets played. The sympathy cards. Well, why do you hate me for being a pedophile? Aren't we all made equal? Aren't we all children of God? This is how it works. This is how it goes every single time. I'm not a bad person just because I'm attracted to what I'm attracted to. I can't do anything about that. Real quick slide on by. Slid right on by that gate. Real quick, playing the sympathy card. Didn't even get you to see that you're sympathizing with the person who is sick. Sympathizing with the sickness. Empathizing with the sickness. Not the person, because in this third dimensional reality where if you're not looking at things through a spiritual discerning or a spiritual lens, you're not able to see the sickness. You're looking at the person. You're having a bleeding heart for the person, which is all righteous. In all truth and reality, you should sympathize with the sick person. But do you allow their sickness to remain? Do you allow the sickness to go unchecked? Do you allow the sickness to go without quarantine? No. What you do is you say, look, I love you to death, but you're not fucking children around me, bro. You're not getting ready to sexualize a teenage girl around me, my dude. This is not how you're going to do that. I sympathize with you. Yeah, you might be attracted. But, I saw one video where these brothers came to this dude. They saw him making moves on this young girl in a bedroom, trying to get her. Brothers busted in there on some vigilante hidden camera type stuff. Busted that dude's face. They was like, bruh, we love you, but I'm about to whoop your ass. And that's exactly what they did. It was a team of dudes came in the room. And this is exactly right. I like how you said that. Either you have to heal or you got to deal. You're not getting ready to allow a sickness to fester in the community when you can easily deal with how you perceive this yourself and this sickness. Do you want to continue telling yourself, oh, that's just what I'm attracted to? No. Because I can tell you that if you continue to allow yourself to simmer in it, in this lower vibrational energy, because you have not allowed yourself to check your gates. And I'm going to tell you, a pedophile is no different than a person who is depressed or who has negative thought loops or who has suicidal thoughts or who has, the desire to kill or the desire to steal. These are all different forms of negative thoughts, negative energies that are swarming around in the mentality of a person. How do you check that? It's the same way you check yourself when you go to, like your mind is telling you, dang, I really want to get a cheeseburger. But something tells you to go and get a bean burger instead. It's the same thing. It's the same source. It's the same process. You go through it by way of sanctification. You question it. You try it by the fire. You put it on the chopping block. Is that how I want to treat my body right now? Is that the effect I want to have on other people right now? You might be a pedophile in your mind, but when you go to assault a child, something in your mind tell you this is wrong. I don't want to have this energetic effect on this child. This is a spiritual interpretation. This is a spiritual check, a spiritual gatekeeper. When you're allowing yourself to say, nah, I might be sexually attracted to this girl who's 16 years old. I might be. But something on the lighter side of myself, on the higher side of myself, the righteous side of myself, is going to say, that ain't right. I'm not getting ready. This is a young girl. She might have, plenty of ass and titties. She might have all that. But first of all, there are other women who are well over 18, well over it, who are well qualified. They might have some mental challenges that you have to get over. But again, this is a mental perception. Are you going after young girls because you can mentally dominate them? Are you that weak that you must get someone who is mentally inexperienced in order to handle them? You have to have a mentally weak person to dominate. And this is the reason why you go after young women, because they look the same as grown women. It's a mental thing. It's a spiritual thing, the reason why you want these young women. Because you couldn't handle a real grown queen if you could or if you wanted to. That's what the real thing we need to be discussing. Why are men going after young women when there's plenty of older women out there to go after? It's not a physical thing. These young girls have breasts and titties just like we do. You're going after them because it's a spiritual attraction that you have to a young, inexperienced woman who can't resist your narcissism, who can't resist your egotistical dominance over her. She can't resist you molding her in ways that she wished not to be molded because she doesn't know herself. And you know that. As an adult, you're a spiritual predator. That's the reason why you won't check yourself when you see a young woman who looks good. You understand? This is a spiritual thing. questions that we need to be asking ourselves about spiritual interpretations. What is this unwanted energy doing when it is allowed to seep into my soul? Again, if you have something that you know already, you don't want to assume in your character, that's easy for you to dispel that energy. It's easy for you to get it out, just push it away. But like I said, what about those things? What about those addictions? What about those addictions that are in you already? They already in you. Addictions to substances like cigarettes, junk food, marijuana for some people, drugs, hardcore drugs, crack. What about those things that are already in you? Negative thoughts. What about those things that you're supposed to be aware of because they're in you? How can you get that out? First of all, you have to recognize it. By looking at your behavior. The things that are in you come out of you by the way you behave. And so if you have certain behavioral traits or certain characteristics in your everyday working functionality, your everyday character, you should be able to say, well, damn, I don't like that. I used to be angry, very angry. Sometimes I look angry right now, but I used to be real angry all the time. And I had to realize, why am I behaving this way? Something is inside of me that I don't want to be there. There's a reason why I'm bitter. There's a reason why I'm resenting myself and resenting other people. It's because there's something in me that I don't want to be in there. That's resistance. How do you get that out? Recognize the behavior. Recognize the behavior first. And then, where's the behavior coming from? You try it by the fire. You question yourself in order to sanctify yourself. Because the answers to those questions are the things that raise you up out of the behavior. When you are able to analyze and say, I'm a little angry. Why are you angry? That's the first question. The answer. Because I'm under an oppressive society and everything around me is telling me that I am crazy. Everything around me is telling me that I am mistaken about who I am. Everything around me is lying to me. Everyone around me seems to be my enemy. I'm angry. I'm bitter. I wasted a lot of time. I wasted a lot of energy. I wasted a lot of service to people who I thought were going to be good to me. These are negative energies, and so you find the root of that and reason with it. Reason with it. All right, so everybody dogged you out of your life. Are you going to carry around that baggage and be angry? No, I'm not. Well, then how am I going to let this go? How am I going to not be angry? How am I not going to abuse my body by smoking cigarettes and doing hardcore drugs or eating junk food where I'm not allowing myself to thrive or feel my body, feel my muscles? How am I going to root that behavior out? It's a process of spiritual discernment, interpretation. Look at the behavior and then turn around and say, okay, well, this is something I don't want, so I got to do whatever I have to do. When you get to know yourself, you'll be readily willing to look at your behavior and say, this is how I'm going to make changes so that I'm no longer behaving this way. When I wanted to get rid of my anger, I started looking at myself and judging myself instead of judging all the things that were triggering my anger. I started looking at myself from a different perspective. My job was making me angry and bitter. I didn't change the job. I changed my damn self. I started looking in the mirror. Girl, this job is triggering your anger. The job is triggering you. What are you going to do? Spiritual interpretation caused me to realize there was nothing further I could do with the job. It was a part of my life I needed to let go. And when I let go of the job, anger slowly subsided. I got rid of the demon. I got rid of the anger demon that was on my back. When I realized that I was not feeling good about the way I was treating my body, I didn't have a good self-esteem or self-image. I didn't feel confident. Where was that negative energy coming from? It came from the fact that when I looked in the mirror, I was damn near 200 pounds. I was dumping anything into my mouth that I saw if I wanted it. If it was a Philly cheesesteak full of cheese and a buttery, oily, mayonnaise-y goodness, I was going to eat it and let it drip down my arm. I was getting ready to love it and then, because it was good. And I was like, oh, I need it in my life. But then I started realizing, girl, look at you. Look at you. You don't like this. You don't feel good about this in the mirror. So I started eating more, mostly vegetarian diet. I eat meat from time to time when I go out, or for certain functions or whatever. But for the most part, I get that thing up out of you. When I look in the mirror now, I see. Come on now, girl. Listen, don't make me get up out this seat with these drawers on. When I look at it now, she's good. Okay. When she walk out the front door, she's good with how she looks in that mirror. There are time to time, I might stand to the side and be like, girl, that little gut starting to get out of the control. But girl, we working on it. I'm still satisfied with how I see myself in the mirror though, because I'm no longer just dumping anything into my mouth. I'm no longer just disregarding the fact that I know certain things are tearing me down from the inside out. Okay? Spiritual discernment. Spiritual discernment. This is how you change your life. This is how you change the way you experience your reality. This is how you tell yourself what it's going to be. And don't allow nobody else to make those definitions for you. If it don't sit well with you, then it's got to go. But what I want us to understand on a larger, grander scale is that our enemy can't do that for us. If R. Kelly, Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby, Chris Brown, all of these people out here, Trey Songz is very rapey. I want to know why we haven't put him on the chopping block yet. But what I want to say is that we need to stop allowing these Caucasians to present the argument for us of what we're going to accept and what we're going to reject. We don't need anybody to tell us about our pedophiles being wrong, because we already know that. We don't need to participate in their public hanging of our negative demons and of our demons. We know how to rid our demons for ourselves. We don't need Caucasians and their public spectacle to come and get into the argument with us. I understand that there may not be certain channels for us to utilize, but at the same time, we do have our own methods for dealing with the things that happen in our families, and our single individual families are very representative of that. We need to make that the larger energy that we go forth with. Silence. These people do not have the right to put our people up again on another tree to hang, and then they light them on fire and let us all watch them burn. R. Kelly said, y'all are trying to kill me. I gave you 30 years of my career, 30 years of my life, of my music. Now, I'm not saying that is a reason or any just cause to excuse his behavior, but what do we have to understand about the energetic transfers? Energetic transfers. These Caucasians put all of his dirty laundry out on the public spectacle for all of us to look and see and point and fingers and judge and say nasty, 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 wrong, wrong, wrong. You know what I mean? And so when that happens, now everything that he did that may have been positive for our community is now null and void. Who made that decision for us? Caucasians did. Do we get a chance to put the Catholic Church on a chopping block, on a public spectacle for them, and then they automatically discredit and throw out the Catholic Church because we said so? No. Does that make it right? No. But what it means is we give them the power to decide. We give them the power to give us what we're going to consume. We give them the power to tell us who we're going to love and hate, and for what reasons. They don't hate the pedophiles in their community, but then they want us to hate the pedophiles in ours. How are they dealing with pedophiles in their community? Shh, hush, hush. Don't tell nobody. That's how they deal with pedophilia in their communities. But then when it happens in ours and they sniff it out, we've been knowing about their communities having pedophilia running rampant. We've been knowing about that. When have you ever seen a black journalist or black news reporter doing a full documentary escaping the Catholic Church, leaving the Catholic Church? Ain't nobody ever said nothing to them about that. When have you ever seen other cultures checking the demons of other cultures? We need to learn how to shut these Caucasians out of our business, whether it be light or dark. It's not up to their spiritual checking of us. You know, why are we allowing other people to check us? We check ourselves. The same way when you have a negative thought, you check yourself. Somebody else you don't allow somebody else to come to you and check you and say, excuse me, why are you smoking them cigarettes? Ain't that destroying your body? You don't let somebody else do that because that's your body. This is our body, our nation of people. You don't come from an outside source in my community and then check my damn people and tell me how to deal with my people. It's like, us going over to China and trying to, create laws for how they deal with their criminals. This is unjust. This is not right. This is not how we're supposed to be doing this. But because we're so asleep at our gates, we don't see the higher truths that are coming out of these events. We don't see the higher spectacle that's happening here. We don't see the greater causes that are being fed out of these transfers of energy from our oppressor to us back to each other. We take the negative energy from them. They release negative energy onto our community. And then what do? We find ways to divide ourselves and then allow that energy to circulate within our divisions. That doesn't make sense. We're all divided, all from one place to another. They drop the energy, the negative energy on us, releasing it from their community onto ours. They exist in a state of positivity. You ever met a Caucasian? They're glowing. Hey, Jim. Hey, Susan. You're always smiling. You're always happy. Why? Because they don't exist in negativity for their community. They create positivity for themselves. They created the economic system to work for the way that they want it to work, the way they want it to work. So they're happy with it. They created the housing system, the political system, the way they want it to work. So they're always happy. It's great. Hunky dory. Yay. We're great. All the communities work how we want it to work. The economy's working how we want it to work. We use technology for whatever we want to use it for. We use, the education system to operate how we want it to operate. Okay? We're happy. We're using things to our benefit. They dump all of what they call positivity is really our negativity, and then we have to understand that too. They live in an inverted reality from us. Everything that's positive to them is negative to us. Everything that's negative to us is great for them. We hate pedophilia. They love it. Line up the kids, line up the animals, line up the same sex, line them up. We having sex with everybody. Line them up. We sticking our penis in everything. Line them up. That's negative to us, but for them, they love it. They get a kick out of it. We can't keep existing like this. We can't keep allowing them to dump that negativity on us. And then when they say, okay, come on, black people, here goes the topic of pedophilia. We already know how we feel about it. We're going to dump it on y'all and see how y'all divide amongst yourselves and argue and bicker while we already having sex with children for decades. Been doing it. Now we just want y'all to argue about it. So we're going to tell you about 5 people in your community that are sexual predators. And now the whole damn black community done gone up in flames talking about pedophilia, something that we don't even do on a larger scale. But all of us are arguing about it. Y'all get on my nerves. I love y'all, but y'all get on my nerves. For real. But I love y'all, for real. I need this to be understood on, like I said, a grander scale, the bigger picture here. The bigger picture here is that the community must know itself. If we knew ourselves as a community and loved ourselves as a community, I love black people. So-called black people. Let me use my language correctly. I love so-called black people. So what I'm not going to do is argue and bicker and fight with the masses of my people over something that I know we don't even do. Like I said, I'm not going to go back and forth arguing about what this one man did when I know that the majority of us are like, boy, that's a bull. All of us. But what some of us who are trying to silence the noise, what we're saying is not, oh, I sympathize with the predator or I empathize with the predator. No, I just want y'all to stop talking about the nigga, okay? I just want you to stop talking about him. Because he's being dealt with. Let it go. We need to be talking about how we're going to organize our own government. How are we going to incorporate? How are we going to get our organizational structure incorporated so that the mission we're on is fulfilled? I'm not even talking about spiritual interpretation no more. Lord, I done got off topic. I hate when I do that. But what I'm going to get back on topic, though, because it's important for us to understand. And this is even relevant to what I just said. When we allow ourselves to consume energy, when it comes into the gate, how are we becoming certain things? When we allow this media to drop certain propaganda on us, how are we becoming new as a society? Are we becoming more unified when we allow the media to determine how we interact with each other, what we interact with each other about? Did you hear me when I said that? Are we going to keep allowing the media to determine what we interact with each other about? No, we must stop this. It's a transference of energy, and we have to be collectively more responsible and conscious and spiritually able to discern collectively that the media is not going to determine what becomes viral in this community. What's going to become viral in a healthy community? What's going to become viral in a community where we are healing each other and not fighting each other or resisting each other? What's going to become viral in a community that is unifying and not dividing? What is going to become viral to a community that is only accepting high vibrations? I only want to hear about viral news that has to deal with Akon giving 80 million people electricity and creating a brand new cryptocurrency that will supply an economy to people who are willing to barter with each other over in Africa. That's the kind of stuff I want to hear viral. What do I want to hear viral? Programs going on in my community to enrich my community. I want to hear about people breaking records and doing things that have never been done before. That's what needs to be viral, not the drama. Not this boy cheating on that damn girl. What's that girl name that got cheated on? And now everybody talking about it. I don't give a damn that a girl got cheated on. There's women out here getting cheated on every day. And don't have interviews on the red table talk about it. Don't nobody care nothing about that. I don't care about you getting cheated on. You've been sleeping around with man after man after man after man, and now you want to be mad because somebody else did it? Girl, bye. Sit down. Shut up. Don't nobody care about what your vagina is going through. Join the damn party. Everybody getting cheated on. It's not primetime television. Lord. I just want to... It's not relevant. Who cares? But we got to get to a point where this is how we interpret and discern what's happening on the inside of our communities. All right? The inside of our communities must be protected and guarded. Who's going to be the gatekeeper? Who's going to be the gate? Who is going to be the number one gatekeeper like the media has? The media definitely has a gatekeeping outlet where they decide, well, we don't want this to be prime time. We want this to be prime time. And we're going to put all the drama on prime time. This is how we're going to do it. Who's going to be responsible for being the gatekeeper for our community? Where we say, this is primetime news. That's not primetime news. Where we're putting all the uplifting of our community in front page news. Where we're putting all of the counteractive activity. If you want to oppress us, we're going to make freedom prime time. If you want us to fight, we're going to make peace prime time. If you want us to hate each other, we're going to make love prime time. If you want us to be ignorant, we're going to make intelligence prime time. If you want us to be dull and docile, we're going to make creativity and innovation prime time. In the news, on social media, in our, at the, what do you call it? At the water pump, at work. This is what's going viral. Social media influencers. Who are we making go viral? The ones who are promoting the side chick mentality or the Cardi B mentality where everything is about chasing the bag and going to twerk and sticking your tongue out and buying getting the bottle. Is this what we're making prime time? Or are we making virtues prime time? Are we making intelligent women prime time? Are we making women who have goals and women who have a mission on prime time? How are we allowing things to slip past our gates? I'm not sharing anything that has to deal with the detriment of my community. I'm not sharing anything that shows people in my community acting ignorant. I'm going to share a fight between two sisters or two sisters acting ignorant. I'm not sharing the race war. Have you noticed? I am so pro-black, pro so-called black. I'm so pro my people. But what I'm not going to do is show an image I saw scrolling down of these two sisters beating the brakes off of a white woman that said these black women don't know how to act. They beat the brakes off of her. Was it satisfying to my soul? Yes, it was. I love seeing them beat the brakes off of that woman. It did something when that energy transferred onto me, when I let it in my gate. I was satisfied. I was like, that's what you get for talking shit. They should have whooped your ass. I bet you won't do it again. Next time you go in the Metro PCS store with them sisters and you talking shit. I was watching it 3 times. Did I share it? No. Why? Because that's not what I want my sisters to be seen doing. I'm fixing the crown, not publicizing the behavior. You adjust the crown on your sister's head. If I was in the store, I probably would have jumped in it. I probably would have got me a couple punches just for the struggle. I probably would have did it. But am I going to share that prime time? No. We need to learn how to do our dirt in silence. Learn how to move in silence. Learn how to embrace our darkness. Because what we're doing is that darkness that came out of them sisters, when they beat the brakes off of that woman, to me, it was righteous. She shouldn't have came out of her mouth like that to 2 queens standing in front of her face. Next time you shut your goddamn mouth. And you won't have to worry about nobody beating the damn brakes off of you. But am I going to share that? No. Because that to me is not how I want the rest of my queens out here to respond. Why? Because I recognize that's not how we move. Those queens could have easily dispelled that negativity. They could have easily acted in a more mature way. They could have easily not given those cameras something to record. I want my sisters seen like that. Am I going to share something that has to deal with my sisters breaking records, becoming doctors, booming businesses? Yes. Graduating college, becoming the first? Yes, I'm going to share that. You damn right. Because that's how I want my sisters to be seen. That's primetime television to me. That's primetime, what to be seen from me. Do I appreciate a woman with a beautiful body? Do I like to twerk my damn self? I love to watch other women twerk. I be like, get it, bitch. Yes. Get it. Am I getting ready to share it? No. That's not primetime television. I'm twerking with you, boo. Left cheek, right cheek. Left cheek, right cheek. I'm twerking with you. Yes. Am I going to share it? No. That's not where we're going with this. My spiritual discernment says that my sisters are not sexual objects. We're moving away from that energy. Am I going to share that? No, that's not what I'm going for. I'm not trying to disseminate that energy on my people. We're moving away from that. I want these sisters to be seen for what they can do, not for what they can shake. They can do much more. Discern the spirit that's being shed upon you. Discern the spirit that is being given to you, because we are all energetic, magnetic creatures. We don't just give off energy, we absorb it, we become it, we emit it, we circulate it, we share it, we are it. So no, I'm not giving you the negative energy that's circulating around there. When I get in negative energy, I filter it. And I only emit the positive energy that I can find. I will absorb positive and negative energy coming from anywhere, coming from all of my gates, the things that I read, the things that I see, the things that I speak of. All kinds of energy being entered and exited. But when it exits me, you better know that it is me that is exiting. It is my righteousness. It is my light. It is my wisdom. It's my knowledge. It is my positivity that is coming out of me. I'm not going to allow the negative energy to come into me and then come right back out so I can circulate it to everybody else. That's irresponsible. I'm not an irresponsible person. I like for people to be positively affected by the energy that I'm giving. I want to be positively affected by the energy that I am receiving. So no, I'm not going to go off the hinges with all this mumbo jumbo, the controversy, going back and forth about negative stuff. That does not belong in our community. We got to learn how to get rid of that. Learn how to discern it. Learn how to say, when that comes into my gate, I am going to either accept it because it's positive and it serves me, or I'm going to reject it and I'm not going to allow it to be recycled back into this atmosphere that I exist in. Because what happens when I release the negative energy that's been put into me? When I release it, guess what? It's going to come right on back around. You keep on that's why it's a negative loop, because your energies are loops. When you put the energy out, guess what it do? It come back around. And that's why when I get the negative energy, I'm filtering it out, because when I put out the positivity, then guess what? It comes back around, back to me. So stop sharing information and images and things that are not conducive to the spirit or the image that we want to portray. Our future selves depend on our current selves to be more responsible. Did you hear what I said? I'm going to say it again. Our future selves depend on our current selves to be more responsible. If we intend to evolve into a more righteous and upstanding culture in the future, then we right now must be more righteous and upstanding and responsible right now and mature for how we are allowing ourselves to accept or reject this energy that we are consuming on a daily basis. Every single day, we're a part of a spiritual war. And if we don't understand that, if we don't respect that, and if we don't start participating in it to the point where we are allowing ourselves to be served by our energetic environment, be served by the energetic input, okay? Be served by the energetic exchange that you're giving back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth to your environment and to other people in your environment. You're constantly exchanging. It's just like osmosis. Energy doesn't have a form. So when it comes off of you, or when it comes off of other people, when it comes off of your timeline, when it comes out of the people in your job, when it comes off of your boss, when it comes off of food, it comes off of anything. What it's doing is a process of osmosis. It's seeping into you. And if you are not diligent or responsible or mature enough to determine what is going to be seeped into you and why and how, then you leave it up to the person who gave it to you. If you're not going to say, I don't want this and I don't want it because of this reason, then whoever gave it to you, they determine if you get it and why you got it. That's not right. That's not fair to you, and that's not fair to everybody else that has to deal with the results of you allowing yourself to be changed by the things that you are consuming. Because when you change, everything else around you is affected. If you were at first a block of ice and everybody was using you to cool off their drink, and then you turn all of a sudden into a ball of fire, everything around you is getting ready to burn the hell up. It's going to change because you've changed your elements. Every time you allow a certain form of energy to absorb into your being, you become that. You become the essence of that energy becomes you. And then you start to emit on that energetic level. So be conscious. Be aware of what you are emitting. Be aware of how you are emitting it, why you are emitting it. This is spiritual discernment. Letting things pass your gates. You guys, I'm getting ready to go ahead and sign off because it's that time. I hope that you did enjoy. I didn't even respond to all of y'all's comments. Let me go back up here. I got to go back up here and see what y'all talking about. I'm all the way late. Oh my God. Oh my God. I gotta, okay. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Somebody said they want to tap into one of my lives. You guys, I'm always open for collaborations. So if you want, please email me, do whatever you need to do. I have my contacts everywhere. So www.reeseroberts.com. You can use any form of contact that you want. It all roads lead to me. So reach out to me however you like. I'm on YouTube. I broadcast live on Instagram and Facebook. And I have a podcast where you can go through the archives of these live broadcasts to listen to these sessions. There are plenty of them on there. This right now is episode 21. So that means you have 20 other episodes and then some, because there are some bonus episodes on there that you can listen to Reese Roberts and all of her crazy, wacky ideas about consciousness and human evolution. So you guys do me a favor and go and subscribe to me on YouTube. Go and become a member of the website so that you can have access to the free downloads and free curated resources that I have on there for you. There's some a list of videos and a list of downloads that you can get for the free. Go on to www.reeseroberts.com and then click on the tab that says Become a Member. When you become a member, only by giving me your email and your first name, I'll send you member access, and then you can get the free access to the book downloads and the curated content. Okay? So that's it, you guys. I'm Reese Roberts. This is Entertain the Thought. Please do come back. I'm going to try my best to go live again tomorrow if I don't get busy. I was supposed to go live on Wednesday. I lied to y'all on accident. I wanted to, but I got kind of sidetracked because I do have to do some more talking about business. Y'all don't understand. This consciousness stuff goes deep. Consciousness goes very deep. So I talk a lot about the spirituality or the effects of consciousness as it relates to business and business development, especially when it comes to training and service. So come back, you guys. Please be a part of this again. I love you. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. This is Entertain the Thought again with Reese Roberts. Bye-bye.